What up? I want to stream snipe the Kings Vegas game. Fuck it. Dr. Nova. I might not even do an hour tonight. Fuck it. Just a few minutes, half hour. Maybe I'll do a 7-hour stream. Who knows? I'm what you call an improv streamer. Got the Kings out in Las Vegas, Nevada. Just put out a new short of stand-up comedy. Check that out, if you will. And that's about it. I'm just a comedy soldier trying to make it in the jungles of LA. I will be at the Comedy Store Saturday night, closing out the main room in front of select members of Slash featuring Miles Kennedy and the Conspirators. I'm a rock and roll comic. You know, I follow the stink. Now, 2 weeks from tonight, we will be having the election night stream. Who knows? That could be a 5-hour stream, you know. Let's break some records that night. JFK, great movie. I don't really like the Oliver Stone filmmaking vibe, because he kind of likes to throw in conspiracy theories and you know, he's like a straight Ryan Murphy. Like, the Menendez brothers were not gay. I knew those cats. I wasn't like best friends with them, but I knew them. So I think but me and Oliver Stone used to go to the same massage parlor, so there's that. I mean, we'll see what happens, you know. 2 weeks out, it's pretty depending on what polls you believe, what you watch, it's pretty dead even, baby dolls. So it's gonna be fun. I mean, I watched let me go over the good parts of the Ozzy Osbourne Hall of Fame. Good parts were Billy Idol and Steve Stevens. Obviously, Zach Wilde, but like he should be good. He was his longtime guitar player. I'm not really a Tool fan, so I didn't really care much for the guy Maynard. But, you know, he's a fan of Ozzy, so respect. And, I mean, Jelly Roll, I've met him. I'm not trying to, like, impress anyone. He's a really nice guy. And, you know, if he's an Ozzy fan, you know, I see it. I mean, he didn't seem to fit that song. You know, you really need a fucking guy who times have changed, Here I go, but I ain't the same. Mama, I'm coming home. Seems to be you could have been a better friend to me. Mama, I'm coming home. I mean, I would have been a better choice, but I don't think I was in consideration. And I thought Wolfie was the best part in terms of the outsiders. I mean, he nailed the Randy Rhoads uh, solo. But just think about that. I mean, he's a great guitar player. I don't care if his last name's Van Halen or Van Winkle. He is a outstanding. I mean, I've seen Mammoth twice. They're good. And I just saw their rhythm guitar player last night, the great Frank Sid Sidoris at Swingers Diner in Los Angeles. So, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of sad to see Ozzy in that condition, to be frank. Peter Chicken Man Brennan, $2. You think Jerron Horton can beat up James? I don't know who that is. Jerron's like from Atlanta, man. He's from the hood, so like I wouldn't bet against Jerron. He's also the one who recommended me to the producers and writers of I'm Dying Up Here. So I have much love for Jerron. Yeah, I mean, maybe if they flipped it, I mean, I would have liked to have seen Whitfield Crane from Ugly Kid Joe do it. He's got more of a metal voice, but maybe Whitfield Crane not an Ozzy fan. And I absolutely think that I don't know if you'd say every member from Ozzy's solo band should have been in there with him, but there's no way Jakey Lee should not have been in that. I mean, obviously, I know he got shot, but like he should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame just for his Ozzy contributions. I mean, he wrote along with I think Bob Daisley, Bark of the Moon, and Ultimate Sin. He came in under very tough circumstances. I mean, the the hippie guy Bernie something, he was like the one of the guys in the hippie version of Whitesnake. He lasted about 3 shows. Brad Gillis lasted about a week. And then Jakey Lee came in. All right, learn all of Randy's and Iommi's songs. You got a couple days. Which, when you really think about it, Brad Gillis, what he did was mind blowing. He literally had like 2 days in a hotel room, no rehearsal. Learn this shit. Yeah, I'm not a Tool guy, but I'm not. Obviously, I know they're really popular. Or we're a popular band. I don't know. I mean, there's some singers that I mean, Billy Idol, I think is great. Trying to think who else. I don't know who. I'm trying to think. I mean, maybe Metallica. Ed Hetfield in there to sing a song, but a lot of it's logistics too. Like, um, maybe. And I think a lot of people. It's so weird to see a female coach for the Seattle Kraken. She's kind of hot too. Boing. Nice leather jacket too. Um, Peter Chicken Man Brennan, Brad Gillis equals Shane Gillis. I mean, maybe they're related. Who knows? Well, thank you, Staggy. I mean, uh, thoughts on Trump going on Rogan? I mean, I think it'll be a friendly interview. Um, so, and I like Rogan as an interviewer, to be honest with you. Um, he kind of reminds me of Howard Stern in the early days as an interviewer, where he'd ask good questions and stuff. So, I mean, I do think Kamala should have gone on Rogan as well. Um, you know, what up, bada bing, Stugats. So, I mean, I'll definitely watch it. Um, and I think Kamala would have really done herself well. That's the one thing I like about Trump is he goes into enemy territory. He'll go into that black women's conference, and no matter how you feel about the guy, watch the first 2 minutes of when he went on that black women's conference, and then watch the first 2 minutes of Kamala when she went on. There's two totally different greetings and I think both candidates should have gotten the same greeting, and then you get into what you like or dislike about them. Yeah, that coach on Seattle's cute. I mean, she's probably. I'm going to assume she's married. But hey, who knows these days with broads? Hit the like button if you can. Looks like Colorado's going to win the game, but 40 seconds left to go. Colorado up 3-1, cracking on a power play for the remainder of the game. I'd be a pretty good hockey announcer. I'd be a little lost with some of these names, no. I bada bing. No, I did not. I'm a metalhead, so I don't listen to a lot of urban artists. It's not that I don't like them. I just don't. I was too busy filling out my resume to be CEO of Abercrombie and Fitch. Hello. Yes, I bet her husband goes 5-hole. Boing. So, but he's very, very talented. So I'm sure it's good. I wish he would stop making new songs and make another season of the Yellies. Yeah, that Abercrombie, it's not really surprising though. I mean, very early on in my young late 80s days, I was trying to be a model. I still have my portfolio. And there was a lot of and I was not good looking enough to be a model, but fuck it. Well, Seattle just scored. It's 3-2, but only 3.5 seconds left. And there was a lot of sexual offers thrown my way. I mean, you got to understand, and especially in the 80s, the photographers are gay, the wardrobe people are gay, the assistants are gay. There's not many straight people in the modeling business. Now, that might be different now, but I don't want to say most, but probably 60% of the agents are gay, 60% of the managers are gay. So, it's not really surprising. I'm talking men on men. So it's not really surprising that Abercrombie would be that way too. I wouldn't be surprised if there were parallels between Diddy and Abercrombie. Any Supernova shows you're performing in the near future? Chicken Man knows what time it is. I never did a Supernova show, but Mark Stevens did like 10 of them. Interesting. If you know, you know. We don't do dabble in here, but we dabble in LA comedy, the comedy verse. If you know, you know what I just said. Now, if you don't, you don't, and I apologize. I wish I got on some of those Bruce Weber. I mean, I was a good-looking guy. I had a great body, but clearly not Abercrombie style. But Flyers been on a losing streak, just getting blown out. Torts is disrespecting the captain on his 800th career game. I mean, I was watching that game tonight because, as you guys know, I'm a Pierre-Luc Dubois fan. And fuck, is he lazy. He might be even lazier this year than he was last year. And I knew Torts 2 shorthanded goals, I think Flyers gave up. But the Flyers should be losing. I mean, they're going to be bad for a while, and I don't think Torch is the coach for them because he's going to make them win more than they should. You got to lose and stockpile those picks, between 1 and 5. I mean, that's what the Kings' problem was, when they were doing the rebuild after the 2 cup wins was, basically, you were making the playoffs and losing in the first round, or you were just missing the playoffs. So you're drafting like from 20 to 32nd, and that's just you're not going to get a game breaker there. But it's not that you want the Flyers or the Kings or whoever you root for to intentionally lose. But I mean, look at the Oilers, man. The Oilers are a top team because I think they have 4 number 1 picks, not 4 first round picks, but 4 number 1 overall picks. Nugent Hopkins, McDavid, I think someone else. What the hell is PK Subban wearing? Jesus. Yo, 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 yo. Oh, Don Cherry would be rolling in his grave if he saw what's on my screen right now. So I like the Bruce Weber reference. Dr. Nova knows what time it is. And what a shock Dr. Nova and Chicken Man kind of came in at the same time. Thank you for your super chat, Dr. Brennan. Even the bags at Abercrombie Fitch had young boys with shirts off. I mean, when you look back, when I was... I never really wore their clothes, but I mean, there was like as soon as you would walk in the store, there kind of like a Stepford Wives kind of vibe. The girl usually it was a girl up front, like a really hot girl, very young. Hi, welcome to Abercrombie. There was a vibe in there. Mitchikoff's gonna be he's gonna be good. Like you could just tell. Oh yeah, Bruce Weber. I mean, known homosexual photographer who had some interesting ways of getting the models ready for the shoot. I mean, there's so many fucking creeps out there, and usually in the modeling world, like it's probably that way to this day. Byfield's hopped up. Usually they're very fucking young. Like I'm talking 12 years old. Like the model scouts are going up to kids in malls and whatnot. And I have a friend of mine who has 2 beautiful daughters because he's a great looking guy still. He's about my age, and his wife is beautiful, and the 2 daughters they have are like stunning. And he told me they were getting creeped on when they were 10, not necessarily for sexual stuff, but like, hey, you should be a model, baby. And then my friend who'd been, we went to nightclubs in the 80s. He knew he'd be, hi, I'm their dad. Do you have a card? Oh, no, I'm just a photographer. Do you have a license? Oh, Nova and I are the Jimmy and Joey of the Earlverse. 100%. 100%. Hey, why don't Italians have necks? There was like 12 Jimmys. I don't know. I'm 13 if you count Fat James twice. Boing. Yeah, Mitchkoff's the real deal. You guys got a good one there for sure. I was watching Shane Wright. Of course, he was the 4th overall pick in Seattle. I don't know how he's going to turn out. He's maybe not looking as good as we all thought he would be. Bushman's daughter. We gotta rock down to Bushman Avenue. Holly Weird is weird. I think her name was Lufthansa. Hello. So yeah, but the modeling world incredibly creepy, and then they go from modeling to acting, and the creeping starts all over again. I mean, it is unbelievable. By the way, this is the last of a 7-game road trip for the Los Angeles Kings. They did pretty well. I think they're like 4-2. something like that. So they almost got points in every game. I mean, you just never know with hockey, the kids. I mean, I think in the NFL, they're a little more physical. From college to NFL, they're a little more physically mature. But, in the NHL, for some reason, hockey players, they haven't grown into their bodies yet. So you got to really forecast their height and weight. I mean, it's tougher in hockey, I think, to get these young. You look at Shane Wright; he was dominating in juniors, and in NHL, he's not even off the fourth line yet. I mean, I was friends, not like great friends, but with Bokanji Amama, and this is a guy who was last year in juniors had 41 goals. I mean, 41 goals. I don't care what league you're in; you're a pretty good player. And so far in the NHL, it just hasn't translated. He's more of an AHL player. So yeah, I mean, but then I mean, I have a friend of mine, she shows me the DMs she gets on OnlyFans, and it's fucking gross. No, they're not going to move. I don't think the NHL will ever move the team out of Anaheim. I mean, I do think there should be a team in Quebec City, but there's already an arena that's fully NHL ready. But I just don't think, for the TV ratings, that the league feels that a move to Quebec City would be profitable. And they're probably right. But fuck, you got to understand, I'm an '80s baby. So I remember watching the Nordiques and Canadians. Man, it was fucking warfare. People in Montreal don't like people in Quebec, so the home games were awesome. I mean, you had Dale Hunter versus Guy Carbonneau. You had, really Dale Hunter against everybody. Paul Gillis was a real shit disturber. So it's I'm hoping at some point Quebec City, but I think the NHL wouldn't mind being in Houston. That's a huge market. Seattle. I don't know if they would put a team in Portland, but that would be cool to have like that West Coast run now of the Kings, Ducks, Sharks, Seattle, Portland, Vancouver, Edmonton, Calgary. I mean, that would be kind of fun to see. But who knows, Hey, we got 26 people in here talking hockey. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, who knows with Lutsenko? I mean, these guys light it up in fucking juniors, but I mean, Boko's the perfect example of, you think, okay, he scored 41 goals in juniors, he'll go to the AHL and score 20. And he scores about 5 goals a year. So that shows you the drop off. What would be your Star Regulars hockey lineup based on funny? I mean, Burr, Marin, Rogan. That'd be my forward line. On defense, I'd have Kirk Fox because he's lanky and he's funny. Brian Holtzman, he'd be the enforcer. And in goalie, you need someone pretty fat to play. Ralphie May's corpse. I mean, Ralphie May's corpse is probably still 400 pounds. I mean, love you, Ralphie, but I was born in Los Angeles. Bada bing. Sorry. Who made the opening roster? Lutsenko. Yeah, no, he's good. Jeff Ross. No, he'd be too lazy in goal. I mean, I don't. He's not allowed on any athletic team. So we don't talk. I'd rather talk about the Dabbleverse than him. I'm on a gag order. Hold on, I'm getting a text from an anonymous person. So you guys talk amongst yourselves for 2 seconds. King game has started. Big save, Dave Riddich is in the house. All right, I apologize about that. I mean, but Ralphie's probably still 400 and a deuce. Who would be coach of the hockey team? Yeah, Sarah Tiana, absolutely. One of my best friends in the business. But we don't really talk that much anymore. I'm sure it's because her manager is Jeff's manager. So it's just, you know, Thai food made me have a wicked blowout. It's terrible. Good for you, Aaron. We can talk about your blowouts in here. Well, I think the Kings in their cup, in their cup-winning years, they just had a great team built for the playoffs. You know, they were not the most tremendously skilled team, but you had guys like a Dwight King, a Jordan Nolan, you know, who were big bodies, and they were perfectly built for the playoffs in a long run and the physical grind. So they were probably, especially in their second run. Well, Gabrick really helped them. I mean, he was almost an MVP for them that second cup. So, you know, it was just lightning in a bottle. And, you know, they almost won the third cup in the middle, but was it Stoll got hurt and then the Slava Voinov situation. So, but, you know, you had a guy like Robin Regier come in. But, you know, the Voinov situation was interesting because they had to make like 3 or 4 moves just off of one guy allegedly throwing his wife down the stairs into the corner of a television. Toughen up, honey. Just kidding. Well, I mean, absolutely Quick had something to do with the wins. I mean, and that's how teams should really, if you look at Dean Lombardi and probably Dave Taylor, the GM before Dean Lombardi, they built that team. I don't know if it was the same year, but very close. You drafted Quick, so you got a great goalie. You drafted Brown, you got a great power forward. You drafted Kopitar, a great two-way center, and you got Drew Doughty. That's what you need. You need goalie, defenseman, center, and hopefully a banger up front. And hey, Ambrose, you're going to need to pay me a lot more than 20 hooves for that. I don't know if I like Nova and Chicken Man talking to each other. Earl, you look like Ted Nugent from 1968. I mean, Ted Nugent was fucking 13-year-olds then, so thanks. Hello. What do you think Jailbait's about? Tuna fish? Off topic, but do you have any interesting celebrity stories from all the years at the store that you can share? I mean, you know, Jim Carrey at Roast Battle was cool. Russell Simmons at you know, a lot of Roast Battle. You know, Roast Battle at one point I didn't hate the fucking show so much. You know, the first year and a half was awesome. You know, it was the show to go to in LA on Tuesday nights. You know, like Dennis Rodman came up, and you know, I remember this is like when I was the heckler, and so I called Dennis Rodman Ron Artest, and he was pretty zoinked that night from what I remember. So he gets up from the judges' table and starts slow walking to my section, which was to the left of the stage. And it was pretty intimidating, man. He's a big fucking guy, 6'8", probably 260. And he just sat in my lap. I still can't feel my leg. Yeah, Simone Gagne, you know, they brought in some guys like that. The store's Dave Taylor. I mean, he'd be a good coach. He'd be the cerebral coach. Uh, Boom shakalaka. Um, I don't remember confronting Callan. Uh, Here's the deal. We need to get these big-titted girls. And then if a player wasn't doing what Dave Taylor wanted, I wouldn't piss on you if you were on fire. Yeah, that's why I called him Artest. I knew I'd get a rise out of him. And then outside of that, when the wrestlers would come in, that was fun. I think people kind of forget how good Simone Gagne was. I mean, he definitely helped the Kings. I'm trying to think other celebrity story. I mean, when David Arquette would come in when he was still partying, and Don Barris would let him go on stage, and he'd be all sweaty and fucking hammered, and just give like these weird positive thinking speeches. Earl, you are a champion. Um, no, Barry Beck went to North Korea or China to teach hockey. Oh, yes. I did do that. Yeah, I was in the OR one night and doing stand up, and Chandler had seen my act 1,000 times at that point. So, uh, um, she was in that little area that leads into the parking lot. Like if you walk out of the OR hallway, you can go left into the parking lot. There's that little like waiting area where people smoke and all that stuff, and cigarettes. The other stuff is smoked elsewhere. Um, and like Callan had his arm around Chandler, and I could tell she was uncomfortable. She was about to fucking punch him. He didn't know who he was fucking with. And I'm like, hey, bro, that's my girl. Unless you want your next set to be through a straw, you'll remove. Skate, I didn't know she was with you. I'm like, well, you knew she was with somebody. You think a girl looks like that's gonna hang out at the store in the parking lot alone? You fucking goyim. I haven't talked to him since. Nerd location. I know who you are. I have not seen it confirmed, but a lot of people are talking about it. So I do believe Dennis Woodruff has left the building. He was like a slightly more successful Boone. Was Callan wearing his dumb sandals? I don't remember what he was wearing. And then like a couple months ago, he sent me a friend request on Instagram. I blocked him. Like, why the fuck would I want to be friends with you? Like, you literally assaulted my friend's wife. Fuck off. Allegedly, of course, allegedly. I'm not getting sued. I'm not losing my ability to stream to 22 people. Hello. Hey, hit the like button if you can. I don't know if Steve-O still does stand-up. He probably does. I mean, I don't know if you would say he does stand-up. He's a good storyteller, though. I mean, listen, who's not going to have a good story when your whole shtick is tasering your ball sack? And he was always respectful. I did not. I try and stay out of the biker world. That's although I am friends with the Vagos Motorcycle Club that owns the tattoo shop up the street. And I tell you this much, man, I love it when I walk Lois late at night and I see them outside the shop 2, 3 in the morning. I feel very fucking safe at night. There's no bullshit that's going on when they're out there. I don't want to know what they're up to. I'm just saying they look after Earl. Well, I think Steve-O should do what Jake Roberts does, and that's storytelling. Don't do the jokes, man. I mean, Schaub probably could have had a more successful run in terms of how people thought of his act if he just told stories. But what do I know? I'm like Bill Paxton in Aliens. I just work here. Were you at the store when Al Madrigal went on a rant about Steve-O doing comedy? I love Al, but I was not there for that. Al keeps it real. I'll tell you that much right now. No, they're about the same. Um, to be honest with you, so it's no surprise that they are friends. It's this old hacky saying, but birds of a fucking feather. You know, Artie Lang was a fantastic storyteller too, much like Jojo Diaz. Uh, yeah, I mean, but I think Artie and Joey were also comics, are good comics. But I think if you're coming in to stand up from another area, like that's Piven's problem, is he tries to be funny and he's just not. But tell stories like, tell stories about Entourage. But his problem is, comedy club audiences in general are young. So some of them don't know Entourage. Some of them don't know he was in Lucas and shit. So, um, that's where he's going to struggle. But as long as he sells out, that's all that matters. I don't really like CM Punk. He was kind of a dick to me the one time I met him. Oh yeah, I mean I see it all the time. William, with predators hanging out with other predators. So when you see these weird pool parties, when some young comic posts a picture of them at a pool party hosted by a fucking predator, and you see who the other comics, like the male comics, are, they're all friends of the predator. Because the predator probably has something on them. It's very Diddy like. Not on that level, but you know, why don't you think anyone's really publicly speaking out about Diddy? Because they've all been to those fucking parties. And, Diddy was Epstein with a tan. Just don't let Al Madrigal open for you. I don't think that's going to be a problem. Um, I mean, it's a very quick story. I mean, I was at Equinox, which is a gym right up the street from me. And for some reason, a lot of pro wrestlers, I think it's a lot of wrestlers who live in LA work out there. Like I would see the Miz there all the time. I think I saw Luchasaurus when he was like regular looking there a few times. Um, and I'm there one night pretty late. And it's literally just me and CM Punk in the gym. And so we both got kicked out at the same time, and as we're literally walking out together, and I put my arm around him. I probably shouldn't have done that. But I'm like, hey, man, uh, you are one of the reasons I still watch today. Man, the product really sucks. And he just looks at me and goes, don't say that. And then just walked off. Like, to me, I thought I was like saying, hey, man, you're so good. I watch a shitty product still because of you. Yeah, Ari Jane, what up? What up? Yes. Well, it's funny you say that. I listen when I'm sleepy and I want to go to bed. Even if I'm napping, I'll listen to like Win by Two or Melton because it puts me to sleep. Not because they're boring, but it's just because it's like white noise to me. Yeah, he had his head down and he had his hoodie on and the hoodie was up. Like he didn't want anyone to know it was him. It's like, bro, we're at Equinox. Everyone's famous here. Uh no, but you know what I'm saying, Mary Jane. Like I get someone said my voice is one they should use to put methadone addicts to sleep in the clinic. Yeah, I mean, I used to sleep to Art Bell shows. Do 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 do. I love that song. I think I just downloaded Giorgio Moroder. Do 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 do. Yeah, it's not if you had George Norrie. I mean, most people are like that guy after Art Bell sucked, but you're following a legend. It's like Corolla having to follow Stern. Like it's just, and Corolla's. I find Corolla funnier than Stern, but you know, turn the bass up. Whoa! Ah, shit, man. The King Killer Thomas Hurdle just scored a goal. It's 1-0 Vegas Golden Knights. 10:53 left to go in the first period. Joel Edmondson with a penalty comes back to haunt the Kings. I mean, I don't know. I thought I did very well on Corolla once I got the pace. But, it's not something you can, like, I can't reach out to Adam and go, hey, I'd like to come back. It's like, if I don't know. I thought Adam thought I was funny, but, that's something where if people tweet at him, maybe that, oh, yeah, I should have Skakel back on. But, I can't really do it. Oh, okay. I didn't know that, Night Moose. No, I don't do fantasy sports anymore. Just because like I root for the Kings. So like if I have say Thomas Hurdle on my fantasy hockey team and he just scored, like am I happy or sad? You know what I'm saying? Marauders music catalog. Yeah, I mean American Gigolo, I mean the Village People. He basically created the Village People. I mean, he was a '80s genius. Now my opening days are over, and when you do comedy for 25 years, you want to be a permanent opener. I'd rather not go on the road at all than be an opener for, like, if it's someone that I really love, like say a Russell Peters, I might. But I also don't know if my comedy would do well with Russell's crowd. So, and I'm not a big enough name to headline. I mean, I can do an hour in my sleep, but I don't want to open anymore. Crystal Gale sang it. I met Seamus seems like a nice guy. I've heard he's nice. Yeah, I mean, it's like I don't know if I would open up for Schneider again. I mean, it's kind of it's like in the music world. Bon Jovi opened up for Rat, and they want to do their own thing. You want to do your own thing after a certain point. Uh, do you really think Derek Poston helped write Gringo Poppy? I mean, Derek's really funny, so he probably didn't. But you can write a non-funny, an unfunny comic, good material, and if they don't know how to deliver it, it doesn't matter. I mean, you could have Seinfeld write Gringo Poppy, and it's gonna suck. Schaub is saying it, and that's no offense to Schaub, to be honest with you. He didn't put in the work. I was talking about this with a friend of his the other day. And the friend was like, he just thought he could wing it. And like, you can't wing comedy, especially for an hour. You'll be exposed. It's not even a knock on Schaub, but it's really, a thing of like, it's like if I tried to be an MMA fighter after never doing it, I'd be horrible at it. And then I wouldn't want to practice. I'll just fucking figure it out when I'm in the cage. Comedy is very hard because it's the hardest, I think. Like you could be in a shitty band and turn around and blame the drummer. You could be, on a shitty football team and turn around and blame the running back for fucking up the play. Ain't nobody Come on in, Seema. Um, no, I am, but don't worry about it. So comedy, you're up there by yourself, so there's no, you can't blame the curtain for being a shitty comic. Oh, no problem, no problem. Um, so that's where I think a lot of people who come from another background, they don't realize that. Like even in MMA, you've got coaches yelling at you what to do at any given moment. You don't have that in comedy. It's not like you're on stage doing Gringo Poppy and you're kind of lost. You don't know what to do, and you've got some. Hey, do this joke now. You remember the joke? So you're there by yourself. Well, I mean, Peter Chicken Man, Bread and Crispy Chicken was another level though. Like, are you single? Oh, I thought you said, am I single? Are you sipping on aloe water over there? Yes. This is, I'll give these guys a plug. I don't know if they're Hawaiian volcanic water. I mean, it tastes like water, I guess. Um, no, I already am the mayor of West Hollywood. That was my neighbor. It was my neighbor. One of the things I like about this building is we all get each other's packages. Hello. Um, so like she works at in the daytime when I'm home, I'll get her packages, and if I have a package, she keeps it for me. Um, yeah, but you can coach someone, uh, but he still didn't do the work. Um, I never saw Schaub once at a booked show where that it wasn't Rogan friendly. I never saw him at an open mic. He didn't practice, and that's why he had never developed. Um, like I have. Um, Probably 5 or 6 backups for when a joke does not do well, save lines or crowd work or whatever, and so I never really truly bomb anymore. You know, because I've got the save lines. He didn't have that, and Rogan and Callen weren't with him side stage yelling out if he didn't hit a joke or whatever. They weren't there. They might have been in the green room smoking weed, but that ain't gonna help Schaub. Well, you both. You write the jokes, uh, you say them over and over, and then you fucking, you go to an open mic and you work on the pacing or the wording of it, and there's all kinds of ways to practice. I mean, I've often said it here, like when I was my first let's just say my first 3 years, I was literally going up 7 nights a week, 3 times a night. And even on a night where I would say go see Kiss in Orange County, I would literally, okay, rock and roll all night's going to be the last song. So I would literally um, stand by the exit, rock and roll all night. Good night. We'll see you next year, Irvine. And I'd run to my car and drive an hour to the valley and do a show. Now I only got up once that night, but still, it was the dedication. I could have taken the night off. It wasn't going to fucking kill me. I don't see Schaub doing shit like that. Uh, well, I mean, he just didn't have the skill set to be funny. Um, yeah, I mean, but performing at those shitty hostel gigs, literally performing in front of a bunch of foreigners, so I can't rely on like a Miami Vice joke because most of the people had probably never even heard the Miami Vice. They never even heard of the show, so that joke's going to fall flat. So you kind of had to really be funny to an all foreign crowd. Uh, Well, that's the thing, though. You can tell funny stories to your friends, but they know you. So, you know, you go up in front of a comedy club, they don't know you. And so you got to earn their trust. And he just didn't have the skill set to ever earn an audience member's trust. I mean, it's 2-0 Vegas Golden Knights, 6:09 left to go in the first period. That's 2 power play goals the Kings have given up. But, the whole point is, um, he just, like I have a spot at the Comedy Store this Saturday night, 12:15. Now, outside of some of the members of Slash's band being there, I'm not going to know a single fucking person in the crowd. So they're going to look at me after a night of seeing famous comic, famous comic, famous comic, famous comic, and go, make us laugh, monkey boy. We'll give you a couple minutes, but then afterwards, you don't do it for those couple minutes, we're out. So I am a soldier, a rock comedy soldier. But that's why I'm as good as I am. I might not be a famous comic, but I'm fucking polished. And I could follow anybody. I mean, I've had to follow Chappelle. And how do you think Shab would do doing that? You're following arguably the greatest comic of all time. You better be fucking polished and on point with that first joke, or the whole crowd's going to get up and leave. No, Shab never was passed at the store. He would get on outside shows, like Tripoli shows and stuff like that. That's why Eddie Bravo goes up at the store. He's not passed at the store. And it's like Dane Cook is not passed at the store. And I know he's tried for years to get past. But, he's so unliked behind the scenes that every booker who's been in charge has been like, we don't need you here. So, I mean, like those shows, Eddie Ift and Friends, like Shab could get on that show. And, damn, 3-0. Whoa, a little fight coming here now. Uh-oh. Edmonton's going to fucking... we got a little full mouse scram. 3-0. Oh. All right. Got a little scrum here. This game is not going well for the Kings, I'll be honest with you. 3-0, 4:46 left to go in the first period. There's plenty of time left. Now let's see what the Kings are upset at. Riddick makes a save. I mean, 16 kind of cross-checked him after the goal. I'd like for the Kings to show a little more pushback than that. Didn't his brother still have... Yeah, that sucked. Eddie F is huge in Australia. Is that what Eddie told you? No, Eddie is big in Australia. Some American comics just go over there. It's like when Kiss was not exactly doing well in the States in the early 80s. They'd go to South America, and they literally... I think Kiss set the record in their total American decline for largest outdoor concert ever at the time. It was for a band. It was like 250,000 people. Now, the US Festival had like 300 or 400,000 people, but that was for a festival. This was just Kiss. Update on the MLC appearance. Monday, I make my return to your brother's show Monday. And who knows? It may be my last time ever on MLC, or maybe it's the first of many. Who knows, brother? But I will plug. I will plug your anything you want me to plug, Peter, on your brother's show. You and Dr. Nova, Thelma and Louise type movie. I mean, they love American acts in South America. I mean, you could take a band like that's you could take the Click Five, which I think stopped becoming a band in 2013. They could tour South America to huge crowds. They just love any American product. Um, so there could be some fights in this game. King's got some tough players. Lee's a tough guy. Janot's a tough guy. Edmondson, he's feisty. So, and Vegas has, they got McNabb and a couple other surly guys. So, this third period could be wild if the Kings don't get it together in the second period. I'd be honored to go. Yeah, I mean, maybe you and then maybe you could have Dave Taylor write Dr. Nova and Chicken Man. It's like a sequel, but with a sex change to Thelma and Louise. I mean, these days, Thelma and Louise would be called Larry and Tommy. Hello. Boing. Whoa. This has been a tough. The Kings haven't played that bad. They're actually out shooting the Vegas Golden Knights. Boy, I watched on someone's suggestion. I watched a documentary by this blonde girl on the Vegas shooting at that festival. Some weird shit went on with that. No, that was Atlantic City, wasn't it? Well, they blew. Oh, you're right. You're right. I love that song. Everything dies in Atlantic City. Whoa, whoa, scrum right there. Can you plug Tom Papa's Breaking Bread pod? Yeah, whatever. I don't know if you're trolling me. Eddie Bravo is not funny. I wouldn't say that to his face, but I'm just gonna. He's a nice guy and a good storyteller. I mean, anyone who's been longtime friends with Rogan is gonna have good stories. We got 2 more minutes, guys, before we end the stream. Let me thank the tippers for this evening. I believe it was just the Chicken Man. Yes, thank you, Peter Chicken Man Brennan. I appreciate the financial love. I mean, he ain't funny, but he's a nice. I'm sure he's a nice guy. I've actually never met him, but um, I don't. I don't. Have a personal problem with him. I know he was the reason Tripoli and Machine Gun Kelly fought at the Comedy Store because Machine Gun Kelly was not a fan of Eddie Bravo's stand-up, so he just literally walks back in the main room, green room, was like, "This guy sucks." Probably not knowing that Eddie Bravo could kill him with a finger poke. And I'm sure Tripoli was like, "Fuck you, man." Yeah, Shane Gillis is very funny, and he's a great guy, like super nice. So I'm not unhappy for his success, and he's very much in the Nate Bargatze. You just root for guys like that. There are nice people. Well, I mean, I don't know if you're saying he's funny off stage, Dominic, or if he's, there's people. He might be funny on a podcast, but he should not be doing stand up. Like, it's insulting to me that he's on stage at the Comedy Store. And to flip it, that would be like him seeing me at a jiu-jitsu tournament when I've never done it before. I mean, I don't think I should be taking I don't think I should be in a jiu-jitsu tournament because I took boxing lessons from the Weaver triplets. So Randy Orton would not be a guy I would pick a fight with. I mean, I met Machine Gun Kelly once at Equinox. He was kind of quiet. But when I was there after that happened in the main room, green room, I saw Machine Gun Kelly talking to Richie in the hallway, and he looked a little rough. Oh, well, I mean, there's a lot of people who are funny on podcasts, I mean, there's a lot of Steve O's a great storyteller, very good on podcast. I'm trying to think who else is. Um, I mean, there's. I mean, no to mind, but there's different. Because on a podcast, you're relying on maybe a co-host to help you. In some cases, two co-hosts and a guest to help you. So you have some band-aids that can help you. But in stand-up, Eddie Bravo can go on Rogan, and he's got Joe, obviously, Hinchcliffe if he's sitting in, Jamie if he's obviously Jamie's there for everything. Red Band. So he's got people to bounce shit off of. But when you're on stage at the Comedy Store or any other stage, you don't have shit to bounce off. You got you. So Tim Dillon, outstanding podcast. Stand up is a hair rough. Yeah, I mean, I had to follow Tim a few times. I thought he was a very funny stand up, but he's definitely a someone who is great at podcasting. He's got. I liken him as kind of like almost a gay Bill Burr. Like he's got that anger that's kind of shticky, but it works. We don't talk about Brian Callen in here. That guy is gross. Uh, how crazy! The Pilgrims left Plymouth, England, and landed at Plymouth, Massachusetts. I mean, pretty low. What up, Cold Sea? I don't know if you said hello, but hello. Um, I mean, there's different kinds of funny for sure. Like there's funny stand-ups, there's funny podcasters, there's funny there's hosts that are funny, but they can't do longer than 10 minutes. That's why they host. There's funny feature acts, but and then there's great headliners who can follow anything. I got to. What's the difference between white noise and Ray DeVito? So we don't talk about Ray DeVito in here. We don't do that, Teddy. We don't talk about Dabbleverse. People popular in the Dabbleverse. This is an Earlverse stream. We talk about anything but the Dabble Land. Yeah, we don't do that. Who's the funniest looking comic? I mean, probably Jay London. I mean, most people thinks that Jay London is homeless. Um, so, all right, you kids, Earl Skakel. We've done a nice tight hour Earlverse. I hope you enjoyed the show. Oh Jesus, ACDC ending the stream hot. Will you redo the Too Fast for Love cover for your special? I mean, who knows, Daryl? I anything is on the table. Bald fish taco. So we will stream tomorrow night. Maybe we'll do a AEW live watch, not for the whole 2 hours, but who knows? We'll just play it by ear. Yes, we hit the goal of $2. It's my goal to make at least $2 every stream. So thank you to Peter Chicken Man Brennan. Did you stop believing in karma due Steve Simone not making it in Hollywood? Well, karma comes in all forms. I mean, Steve's definitely funny enough to make it, but what's making it? Some people. So I had a comic come up to me the other night at the store say, basically, I've made it. They're like, oh, you got a funny YouTube stream. You've got a popular podcast. It's not popular. You're paid regular at the Comedy Store. You get to close out the main room on Saturday night, which is like the prime night to do that. You've been on TV with Roast Battle. You lead on a cartoon. I was sort of going, yeah, I have fucking. Oh, man. Wow. What a bummer. Fernando Valenzuela died. I was uh, oh, what a bummer. Damn, I was there for the heart of Fernando Mania. Only 63, man. 1960 to 2024. So shout out to Fernando Mania. I don't. I'll tell you right now, if you went on eBay right now, but there's about fucking 500 new listings of Fernando Valenzuela merch. Who's your favorite MLC hack packer? Um, I don't really like the hack packers, you know. But is he considered a hack packer? He's like part of the main roster of talent. I will say lately that was it Mr. Kill Everything when he's like it's kind of sad, man. He's like fucking hammered on a stream just talking shit about Gino. That guy's pretty funny. I like the Sorcerer. Uh I actually miss Barry Ribs. I mean, I do enjoy watching that stuff. I just don't like talking about it because I have nothing really to add. Like, what time is it right now? It's 9:03 my time. I've said this before, but the breakdown is Shuley and Melton in the morning, Chad in the late morning, early afternoon, MLC, Steel Toe, Ray, Corndiff, Carl, all those guys. So I just at 9:03 midnight for you East Coast freakers. I got nothing to add. I'd rather talk about wrestling and hockey, 14 people than. I mean, yeah, I would love to have 300 or 400 people in here, but hopefully one day it'll happen. And I am surprised that Nashville is winless. I mean, you could bring in all these free agents, Marcia So, and obviously Stamkos, but if they don't have chemistry, man, like. I mean, I think what up, Ben Bone Jones? Do you think KBC's Mr. Kill as his new Brian McCarthy? I mean, I kind of like, when Mr. Kill everything. I don't know anything about that guy. I don't know where he came from or whatever. But like when he was kind of shitting on Gino, and I don't know. It's like, dude, you're fucking rotting your liver right now for our entertainment. So it kind of made me sad, to be honest with you, but I don't throw judgment at people. You want to like do what you got to do, I guess. Do you collect sports wrestling trading cards? Not really. I mean, I collect like wrestling dolls, but it's not like an extravagant collection, to be honest with you. Like this is probably the rarest wrestling doll I have. Let me turn the light on here for a second. My Kenny Omega Mortal Kombat Street Fighter edition. And it's not super rare. It's probably worth $50 or something. By the way, Kenny Omega is wrestling for New Japan. So, hold on. I'm getting a text here about Fernando Valenzuela. What comic is the Valenzuela, Lopez, Fluffy, Felipe? I mean, probably Fluffy. I mean, Fluffy has that Fernando Mania type vibe to him, but kind of a bummer. Well, he's going to be wrestling. I think I'm not like familiar with New Japan's roster. Like their champion, is it Naito? Or what's the guy with the hair? He does the guitar gimmick. So I think he's healthy, and you could tell in the last few weeks that the Elite with Perry, Okada, and the Bucks, they've kind of mentioned Omega. Basically saying we have our new Omega, and that's Okada. Now, I've been uh, pining. I don't mean Jim Pining. He is a comedy promoter in San Diego for an Omega Okada American match because they've had some bangers, 5 bangers. That's my rating system in Japan. So, and I think Okada would be good for Omega because Okada wrestles at a slower pace, which I'm assuming would be good for Omega at the moment. Well, he's got that same thing, diverticulitis, that Lesnar has. So, step aside, Jesus. No, I mean, Okada and Omega have great chemistry. So you could clearly tell if Omega is healthy enough, but maybe in 2 pay-per-views, they're building towards an Omega Okada thing. And maybe it's for control of the elite. Although Jack Perry was the main provocateur last week to Omega. So maybe they start off with Perry and then he goes after Okada and gets control of the elite. Yeah, I mean, I like the Moxley storyline. I mean, I think it's all adding up to it's all adding up to a Shane McMahon debut because Moxley keeps saying this isn't your company anymore. You know, it's like insinuating that someone is coming. Um, and I don't know. I mean, you could definitely tell the writing in AEW is better, which would make me think McMahon's already working with them. Now, of course, this week might be the debut of Bobby Lashley, but you know they might hold off for the next pay-per-view. But that's like mid-November. Of course, Halloween night, Shelton Benjamin is battling Swerve Strickland, so maybe it's there. You know, yeah, MJF. I thought MJF and Omega did um, fight once. I'm pretty sure they did on a Dynamite. I mean, you got to give AEW this. They do a lot wrong, but they give the fans a lot for free. I mean, there's a lot of pay-per-view matches that AEW fans get for free. So how could what be worse, William Zoom? We'll go to the end. We'll go to the start of the second period, which probably is about 5 more minutes. Hit the like button on your way out, pretty please. I don't ask you guys for much. So, you know, good times, you know, and you think about it, Omega's coming back, Lashley's debuting, Adam Cole's back, and who knows what's going on with Hobbs and Wardlow. You know, they're in the mix. The rumors are Ricky Starks is going to WWE, but you know, maybe it's a swerve. Yeah, but you could definitely tell, like with the elite promo last week on Omega, it was setting up something between Omega and the elite. Now, in my mind, I instantly thought, oh, he's going to fight Okada for control of the elite because Okada's basically in the Omega position right now. But then, you know, Jack Perry was the main provocateur. So, you know, I'm expecting that to be Omega's first feud. I mean, I hope he's healthy. I mean, he's such a fucking talent. Pretty good on the mic. Great in the ring. When Will Ashley Hamilton make his Comedy Store comeback? That will happen the same night I go up the stairs to Roast Battle and apologize to Jeff so I can judge 2 open micers. Hello. Goodbye. So, and I appreciate you guys doing some online trolling for me. Of course, I don't condone it. But I have a few people in the Earl army who seem to be I mean, you guys know who my enemies are. It's not hard to figure out if you don't. We got 6 minutes before the start of the second period. The Golden Knights are up 3-0 on the Los Angeles Kings. Nice girl. Who thought? Well, Tommy. Well, I mean, Tommy didn't say. But you got to figure, Ashley probably thought he was going to be like Dane Cook. He was dating Whitney Cummings. She was clearly rising. And then she dumps him. And then you got nothing, man. Okay, you're George Hamilton's kid. Good luck with that. It's a tough business, man. You're dating someone who's rising. It's great when you're with them. But when they break up with you to upgrade from you, it's like the Springsteen song off the Tunnel of Love album says, when you're alone, you're alone. When you're alone, you ain't nothing but alone. Now I was young, free on the main streets of the city. I thought to make 'em my home. With just a shirt on my back, I left and swore I'd never look back. And man, I was gone, gone, gone. But there's things that'll knock you down, Ashley, you'll never see coming. It'll send you crawling out of Whitney's house. Nobody knows, honey, where love goes. But when Whitney goes, she's gone, gone. When you're alone, Ashley, you're alone. When you're alone, Tommy don't put you up no more. When you're alone, you're at the Laugh Factory. You might even get a spot at Sal's Comedy Hole. Well, I knew someday you'd look back and think back on me, and our love would be strong. Whitney, you'd forget all about the bad, think only of all the laughs that we had. But Whitney's gone, gone, gone. Well, it ain't hard feelings of nothing, Whitney. That's all I got. Don't touch the girls. Do you ever perform with Ray Stevens? Who's Ray Stevens? Obviously, I don't. I do have a good voice. What's your favorite Nardwuar interview? We don't talk deep in here, Chicken Man Brennan. We don't talk about Ray DeVito, DJ. I don't know what your obsession with that man is. And I don't dislike him, but I don't know, leave the poor guy alone. He's clearly not in on the joke. It's like that open mic comic who was in that documentary about the Fourth Wall Comedy Club out here. When every comic in the Fourth Wall documentary was being interviewed, they got like 2 minutes. And this guy should have been clued in. Oh, they're interviewing me for like 16 minutes. And then once the documentary came out and he was made to be a buffoon, he clocked her in the head with a steel water bottle. I did get invited, Moses E., to the funeral. I did not go because, frankly, I didn't know her that well. I mean, the last time I saw Ethel was in 1998. She went to both of my parents' funerals. They were 2 months apart. Haven't seen her since. But I will say this. 150 left, guys. Get those last-minute questions out. It's one of the most visually stunning memories I have in my lifetime is at my dad's wake. It was an open casket. They did a good job making my dad look presentable. We're all talking and, my dad was a pretty loved guy. And I don't know, for some reason, I looked back at my dad's casket and Ethel was standing over him with her hand on his hand. And it looked like a fucking painting. I mean, it was such a pretty visual, in the most saddest of circumstances. So, okay. I thought you meant the crippler Ray Stevens. What happens first? You suggest Ray to Emily, or Jeff Ross apologizes. Man, you chicken man, touche. You are man, that's a tough one. Uh, probably Jeff apologizing to me, and that's never going to happen. I mean, I have had mutual friends try to bridge the gap, but you know, no. But the Crippler was Ray Stevens originally. Um, I've had mutual friends of mine and Jeff's, and I don't mind people who are friends with both of us. I just ask them, "Hey, don't talk about him to me because you're never going to sales pitch me what a great guy he is." Because I could tell you a few things that would counter your statements. Um, because I know that Jeff has said to mutual friends, I don't understand why Earl hates me so much. He knows. And not to get into that at the end of the stream, but like, you know, you guys know me. You might not think I'm funny or whatever you think about me. Um, I keep it real. I'm not really a bullshitter. Am I capable of bullshitting? Yeah, I probably am. You know, probably. But I what was done to me was wrong. And it happened on two different networks, two different sets of executives, two different shows. And the only common theme was Jeff and his manager. So, you know, I don't think I'm being out of line. But I also hold grudges. Now, I've been reading some books lately about letting go of things, and I'm not down with that, man. Because to me, when you just let it go and well, let karma happen, you might say certain things that have happened to him is the karma. That karma had nothing to do with me, so I don't feel better. Oh yeah, 100%. Like he went up to just about a year ago, a very good friend of ours, very good mutual friend of ours. He's like, "Hey man, Jeff, like, you know, he just doesn't know why you hate him so much." I'm like, "Bro, he knows." And then I told this guy, I said, "This is why I don't like him. A, B, C, D, E, and F." And the guy, now you might think I'm lying about this. I'm not. The guy just looks at me and goes, "Yeah, I get it." And to all the people that say "let it go," you know, it's like, you know, that same thing. We're going into overtime here because we hit the goal of $2. Uh, you know, when someone gets cheated on, like when I got cheated on many, many years ago, uh, you know, I had a friend of mine, you know, they say the standard lines. There's more fish in the sea. She didn't deserve you. You can upgrade. Yeah, you know, all those lines. And then that guy got cheated on, and he was like, "Fuck this bitch." I'm like, "Well, what about the more fish in the sea stuff?" And he looked at me like, "Now I know how you feel." So, you know, how do I kiss his butt, Moses? See, I've never once said a nice word about him. See, this is what I don't like about trolls. You sit there and say, um, I should hold a grudge against Stone Cold. I've never said a nice word about him, but I certainly don't kiss his ass. I mean, if you're going to troll, at least be factually right. What do you want me to do about it, Moses? Kill him? And if you know, see, this is what I hate about trolls, and I'll engage with you because I'm in a good mood. Read Roddy Piper's book. There's literally 2 pages of it me talking poorly about Stone Cold. I mean, why do you think he blocked me? So, you know what you're talking about. Uh, yeah. So, like, no one's going to do this. You can't find one clip, one tweet, one anything of me say, "Hey, Stone Cold's a great guy." Read Piper's book. That's just 2 pages of it, me saying what a bad guy he is. Any podcast I've ever been on that's talked about Stone Cold, I've been uncomplimentary and blamed him in part for Piper's demise. Uh, Let me see. Hold on, I'll end the stream on this. Mo's got me fired up. Hold on. Wait, well, I think it's. Here's the book. Hold on, yeah. Let me. I don't know what page it's on, but hold on. So get to the picture section. Sorry. There's a picture of me and Piper in the book, and Lois. Right there. Sorry. I mean, I don't think wrestling is for pedos. I mean, to be honest with you, but I can't. Lois did make Piper's book, so. But Moses, I don't know if you're still here, but I don't mind you guys trolling, but at least be factual. What could I have done? I mean, Stone Cold has blocked me on all social media, so I think that tells you right there that I have not spoken highly about the guy. But frankly, for someone who only has 24 people on the stream, don't leave the stream, Moses. I need the numbers. Hello. I am. Well, yeah, but you are trolling a little bit, Moses, when you sit there and say that I basically have never spoken bad about Stone Cold. I mean, there's a reason I'm blocked on all social media. So, I don't mind people talking shit, but at least be factual about it. I mean, like I said, I don't know what page. You'll have to, research it yourself. But I'm in this book. I mean, probably it's not the only reason I was in the book, but a large part of the reason was to tell the story of how we got kicked off of 2 networks and whatnot because of Stone Cold. So I can live very comfortably in terms of how I've spoken about him. In terms of Jeff, I mean, if I wasn't on Roast Battle from day one, I wouldn't really care that much. If I just walked in, like someone like Mike Lawrence just walks into the show and it's already fucking rocking and rolling, and I'd be like, okay, I'll just come into this show that's fully formed and created. I did nothing to help. I'm just here because I'm good at what the show's about. Cool, no problem. But I was literally on the fucking show from day one. And that show, not to get too deep into Roast Battle, because I don't want to bore people with the same fucking stories, but, that show was not good the first year and a half. People literally only came to hear me and Moses. And my podcast, Inappropriate Earl, was really the unofficial podcast of Roast Battle until they got their own thing going. So there was no loyalty shown toward me. And that shit pisses me off still, as you can still tell. With Stone Cold, Gino pushing drinks on Kumia to the point he needed a triple bypass. Kumia was doing good with sobriety. Gino had fucked it up, was awesome. Oh, no. I mean, I just don't think Austin and Roddy like each other. It's fucking, not every wrestler likes each other. And no one ever told me this, but, I'm sure Piper was like, hey, man, I was the OG version of you. How about showing me a little respect? And then, they just, podcasting at that, in 2000, podcasting was not new in 2013, 14, but it was, it certainly wasn't, there were feuds in the podcasting world. So, you know, hubris, look it up. Jeff Ross has a lot of hubris. He's had a free ride for a long time. Well, that is one of the things he's great at. And you know what? I can't say I want the skill, but what Jeff is good at is walking into a show that he didn't create, he didn't build. And, in this case, he probably sales pitched Moses, hey, I'm the guy that can take this show to the next level. And then, he switches everything that was good about the show. And Roast Battle in its heyday was not good because of any one person. Like even when Chappelle would go up to the comedy, the belly room and sit in on Roast Battle and judge and whatnot, even he got it. Like there was one time me and him were roasting each other. Now here I am, one of the most unknown comics on planet Earth, and I'm shitting all over Chappelle, and he got it. So that's like when Leslie went up there, she didn't get it. Like she thought, well, I'm Leslie Jones. I'm the fucking star of this room. And she was, in terms of being the most famous person in that room. But that was one of the great things about Roast Battle was that when you walked upstairs, no one gave a shit who you were. They didn't care if you were on 8 TV shows. That room was my room. It was Moses' show, but that was my room. So you want to come for me, you're not going to win up here. Now, if we're in the OR or the main room, you might win. But the belly room on a Tuesday night from about 11 o'clock to 12:15, I was Mike Tyson up there, virtually undefeated. Oh, 100%. I agree with you on that. Moses, there's a reason Geraldo started off every roast. He was great. So, I don't think anyone really anointed Jeff the Roast Master. It's like me calling me the greatest comic of all time. Like, who called Earl that? Well, Earl did. Like, what? So, it's just one of those things that, and people, our mutual friends have been like, well, Earl, what do you want from him? Like, how can we make this right? There's nothing that can be done. What are you going to do? Invent a time machine and put me on the other 2 seasons of the show that I should have been on? There's nothing that could be done that would ever make me happy. And, being in the third, strike against him, at least with me, is him complaining to Adam about me being on the roast of Adam. It's like I would not have ruined the show. Was I going to go after Jeff for certain things that were going on in the news about him? 100%. I'm a roast comic. So he can make jokes about Harvey Weinstein, D'Elia, Bill Cosby, but yet when the jokes are at his expense, well, Earl's a wild card. Like, how am I the bad guy? Like, what the fuck? All right, guys, I've gone 10 more minutes longer than I said I would. All because we hit the goal of $2. I would come to New York for another Kevin Brennan roast. Hold on. Nobody would care. Chappelle's Asian wife confirms that regular sized Wayne. Okay. 100% there, Rebel. Mostly because Austin's an alcoholic woman abuser, right? I know there were some issues between him and Deborah that he hit her, or, I'm not really familiar with the story, and I'm not playing dumb. I never really paid attention to the story. I think Austin probably blocked me when I was like, bro, you're a professional wrestler. Your gimmick was cracking beer cans open and drinking. Like, come on. I don't really follow basketball anymore, Mickey. So I could not name you 3 players on the Kings outside of LeBron and Bronny James, and maybe Who's the guy with the monobrow? Anthony Davis. I literally could not name you a fourth Laker, which bums me out because I grew up in the era of the Showtime Lakers. Yes, you did. I will be streaming tomorrow night, probably after AEW. I hope you guys had a good time. The Earlverse is over and out. Not hold on. Let me squeeze that one. Not really anymore. I mean, you got to win to have it seen and be seen. I mean, I'm sure they get celebrity people in there, but it's not like it was back in the day with Diane Cannon, Jack Nicholson, Pacino, and whatnot. But you know, those guys are also dying. So I'm sure DiCaprio's there with a 19-year-old. Good for him, man. Good for him. Earl Skakel over now. Date a 19-year-old if you can.